Ben.
Well, Darren sent out the email, and I volunteered to go first. I don't know why. Hey, it's my wife.
Thanks.
But I think with my story, it's a lot of what we're talking about today with 1 Thessalonians 4. I was saved in 1994 at a youth convention in Anaheim, California, listening to Dr. Tony Evans preach. Remember it very well, August 17th. It was an emotional decision like most decisions are. I was out there with my United Methodist youth group, and I got done and got back, and 2 weeks later our youth leader was fired for embezzling youth group funds. So my high school years didn't have a lot of nourishment for the faith. Still went to the same Methodist church where the average age was like 77-ish. You think I'm kidding, but yeah, that's literally like the church I went to, there's like 4 people left because they're the only 4 that haven't died yet. So due to that, there wasn't... Wow. Due to that, there wasn't a lot of nurturing as I first became a Christian. I went to a public high school, and like a lot of people, a lot of guys especially in high school, you start looking at pornography and things like that, and pretty soon I did have a sexual addiction. It was not an easy, nothing you knew at the time, and I'm not one of those people going out and doing, I'm not paying for it and things like that, but I did have one. Something that basically I struggled with until the last couple of years. It's, and the thing is, I still went to church every week, didn't do anything else, never got into drugs or alcohol or anything like that, but that was my thing. That was my sin. Went to a lot of times, hate to say it, got late on Saturday night, went to church on Sunday morning. I mean, that's the kind of life I led for the long time. I taught Sunday school. I played in the worship band at my church. Not looking back, it's not something exactly that I'm proud of, but it's something that I went through. Coming down here, and the thing is, God was still using me. I mean, I was, kids in my Sunday school class got saved. I played in a Christian band in Iowa. God led me to come down here while I was still struggling with that. Coming down here, unfortunately, didn't help things because I didn't know anybody and I was lonely and didn't have any money, so that's the one thing I could turn to because it's something that I could do. I mean, it was something to do, basically. Through coming to Metro and church here, God really started working with me on that. Finally, I don't know, it was a little over 2 years ago, I actually was in the car with my dad, and I said, I can't fix this on my own. I'm not going to get better until I confess something. So I told my dad everything. Shocked the heck out of him. No idea. But he was very understanding. And it just, I moved down here. God was telling me to move down here, that you're going to work in the Christian music industry, and that part of me didn't change for the longest time. But finally it did break. And, God bless him, because as soon as it did, God surely started changing things in my life. Literally within 2 months after that, I met Chrissy, the love of my life, and somebody I never could have met had I continued doing those things. A couple of times that sin has creeped back up, but I've done a good job of not feeding it recently. We had one example early on in our marriage, and never felt worse in my life doing that. But it's something that really through faith in God and relying on Him and just working through it and really making an effort to stop doing it. I've stopped doing it. I work. I'm doing what God's called me to do. A lot of you know I work in the Christian industry now. I'm helping other people get their message out to get others to be saved by Christ. I don't have the ability to go out and do it myself. I'm not one of those people that can be on the front lines. I don't have the rock star look, so to speak. Can't sing, can't tell a story, as you guys can obviously tell from this little dialogue. Sorry, when I get nervous, I tell jokes. It's my thing. Thanks, Philip. Appreciate that. But through it all, I guess is what I'm saying is that even when your life through your own sin is crumbling around you, there's nothing that you can turn right to God, and with Him, there's not anything that you can't overcome. I guess is really the moral of the story, if you would. So I thank God for being patient with me throughout that and not leaving me, even though I was not exactly doing what I should have been doing as a Christian. And I know a lot of men especially struggle with that. You're in high school and it's like somebody passes a Playboy around the locker room. It just happens, and it's hard to stand up to that. And it's taken me quite a few years, and I'm just thankful that God has freed me